Hello, how are you guys? Hope you're doing well. My name's Diane. This is ArtsyWisdom. Thank you for coming by. Thank you to all my new visitors, new subscribers. I really appreciate you, and I love all your suggestions. I'm getting these fantastic emails from my viewers, and you guys keep coming back. It means a lot. So thank you, and share and like and all those things. Continue to do that. Today I'm going to do a couple videos. This one particular is going to be more about a few mysteries that are happening right now. There's two little kids, Jack and Lily, that are missing in Nova Scotia. I think they're 4 and 2. And they've been looking for them for about over a week now. They called it off and then they started back up yesterday. And so I wanted to get into their energy to see if I could find out what happened or where they are and if they're still with us. So I did that, and somebody, I forget her name, Brooks, anyway, sent me an email and asked about those whales, those mysterious 3 whales. I think it was 2 gray whales and another type that had washed ashore in Vancouver. And then third one is a tropical water whale and it shouldn't be up there. So she asked me to look into that. So that's the second thing. I also wanted to look into Stonehenge again. One of my lovely viewers, Stephen, asked me about Stonehenge and the frequency, because what I had seen is they created it and they brought, using their wisdom about frequency, somehow they understood that stones, or the native Celts or whoever it was, I don't think it was aliens, I looked into that, I don't think it was, but they got a sense that there's frequency or there's energy in these stones or rocks. And there were different clans or tribes or groups of people that understood that. And they created this ritual place, the Stonehenge. And it took them many years to get all the stones there. But I do feel like some of them came from elsewhere, and these tribes from other clans or wherever up north, they had different energies about them, and they brought them there so they could all amplify for the whole land. And I saw this energy going down into the ground to this, almost to the center of the earth, or what they imagined it, and then up to the sky, to the heavens. And they used planetary locations, moons, the sun, depending on the location of the sun, different times of year. And there were sacrifices for sure. But I got into that. Stephen also asked me about Harry. You know, I've looked into Prince Harry and I feel like he needs so much help, and him and Meghan and the kids. And I had asked, I had looked into his energy, and he just has a huge chip on his shoulder, and he's very angry, and he needs some inner child work, really. He has this little inner Harry person is hurt. And Meghan kind of filled that void, and she agrees with it. Yes, you're hurt. Continue to be hurt, because it makes my life easier if you stay in that place. And yes, we're mad at the world, and look how bad they are. So Stephen had suggested I ask Princess Diana to go in and talk to him, which I hadn't thought of before. So I did that. So that was very interesting. And I'll tell you what I saw about that. So those few mysteries, and then I'm going to do another video on politics and my owl spirit, and what I saw about that, and Biden's health and other things. So let's get started. All right, let's start off with, and those of you who don't know me, I read my notes because I meditated here for about a good hour and a half here, trying to get into all the energies of all these people and situations. I'm going to start off with this little children, Jack and Lily. The minute I saw the stepdad talking on the news, I was questioning him. In my mind's eye, I thought, and that's why I wanted to look into this, because I think they were 2 and 4 or 3 and 5 or something little, and Nova Scotia's cool and rainy this time of year. But there is a theory that he had something to do with it, or somebody had something to do with it, and they were abducted. And so I got into the energy of them, this child, especially the boy, Jack. And I still felt like he was wearing diapers. I know he's probably 2 or 3, but I felt like he was still in diapers, or his bottom was wet or something. And without getting too graphic, he and his sister also kind of hung out together. They, they played together. They were all the time hanging out. I don't know how it started. The feeling I got was that this stepdad or another man, but I think it was the stepdad. Well, before I say that, I don't want to miss out on this little spot. His energy is very sweet, this Jack. He's very optimistic. He didn't think life was bad. I don't know exactly what was happening in his life, but he was positive and optimistic. He saw the good everywhere. And he's a little guy, so of course he would. But I saw that this man was slapping him, and mostly started with the sister. And I think he was on something or drunk or something. And he kind of went nuts. And I think he got angry. And I got that they were bludgeoned. I got up either through fists or something else. And I'm sorry, that's pretty nasty to think about, those poor kids. But I was in their soul energy from afar, and they're okay now. But still, that. Originally, when I first saw the image of him, I saw, oh, they're probably under the trailer. I felt like, because there's a trailer, I don't even know what that trailer was, but I felt like they were under that trailer. But the people would have found them, or I'm sure the dogs would have smelled them. So the image also I got after that was them being wrapped in a tarp or a blanket and put in the back of a truck and taken off and taken away somewhere far away. And I wanted to know about the mom, because I thought, was she in on it, or did she know, and sort of is she covering for him? I feel like yes. Right now, I wasn't sure earlier, but I feel like yes. I feel like this guy may have been crying. She might have thought of them as difficult or something, and he lost it at one time, and she's trying to protect him, and he's crying and apologizing and yada, yada, yada. The old story. But I think the stepdad. But, this is my musings. We'll see if I'm accurate. I hate to think that, because I hate people hurting children. But, so there's that. Hopefully at one point they will find their rest, or they will find some closure. I feel like they're still happy little kids on the other side. I feel like he's just frolicking, this Jack. Yeah, I feel like they're by trees, obviously, Nova Scotia. I feel like they're by trees. And it's funny because I think I can hear dogs barking. It's like they can hear dogs barking. I don't know what that means. But let's pray for their little souls. And pray for the people that can't stop themselves and commit crimes against all people. And may they find some health and healing and wisdom and redemption. Okay, on that happy little note, not really, so I'm being sarcastic, I'm going to look into those whales. I know what I didn't even hear about them until this lady, lovely viewer who emailed me. And the one who got from the tropical waters that doesn't usually go past California went all the way up to Vancouver and washed ashore. I'm feeling like it was sick. It lost its navigation thing. Sometimes I guess ships hit them and they get hurt and wash ashore. But this situation I think is different. I feel like it had something in its brain, like brain damage or some sort of bug or parasite. I know it sounds weird. but then it came, so it lost its way. I don't think it was, it might have been starving because it wasn't eating because it's not right in the head. But, but I think that's why it went all the way up there. And I feel like it died way before then. Like it came up then, but it had died way before. But the other two gray whales, I feel like they were hurt by ships or, because I guess there for a while they weren't getting enough food and they were starving, some of these gray whales, because of the climate. I think that's part of it. I think they were looking for food off track as well, but then they got hurt by ships. They were in the wrong place because they were searching. No. But the other one was the mystery, I think, more than those two. Magus and Satiety, which is 10 of Cups. Yeah, this third one was following what it thought was the right way to the food, but it got lost because of its brain thing. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's sad. Okay, no more death. This third thing, I looked into Harry and to see if Princess Diana could talk to him. And okay, so when I see him from her perspective, she's like she's super excited. She's turning her head fast and she's excited and energetic and she wants to do this. So I look at him from her perspective and I sense this inside of his torso where there's a deep hole, like a cavern in there that is very deep and empty. And that's why he's resisting help, is because it's like he can't even though he says he has these, he's upset and he has his life is filled with grudges and anger, resentment towards his dad and his family, or Queen Camilla. But I feel like and his brother too, because he's the spirit. It just is like redheaded stepchild kind of vibe, but it's worse. He feels worse. But he is resisting it because, like I saw in the last one, if you let go, if you're holding this pain for as long as you remember, resentment, if you're like, I want to get healed, I want to get better. Well, when you go through the process of maybe releasing that pain and helping yourself, it's hard because that becomes part of your personality. And if you lose that, who are you? What do you believe in? What are your values? So I think for him, it would be about grief and feeling another sense of abandonment, because he's holding on to his mother with that part of him as well. So what I asked her to do was to go talk to him, right? So she says to him, "You've proved your point. Be with your family," is what she's saying. And I'm picturing England or the UK. She says the drugs or the mushrooms or the pot or the whatever drugs, I don't know, illegal and legal, have confused you. She says, no, get sober, because this is part of the issue, is that it affected his brain to a point too. Drugs can be a catalyst. People might be on the verge of some sort of mental problems. Drugs sometimes will trigger all kinds of stuff. And so she's not saying he's that bad where he's going into psychosis, but he's got to get sober in like zero, go au naturel, zero medication, zero, well, I don't even know about an antidepressant. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. But from my experience, from her looking at him, she's saying none of the mind-altering stuff, no pot, no any of that. No, I don't know, whatever he was doing. Ayahuasca, I don't know, LSD. He feels separate, and she tries to get him to go, but there's like a wall. There's a wall between him and the other, his William and King Charles and all them. he feels a sense of a wall, and it's like a permanent wall. It's like he feels like he can't get over this wall. And she's saying to him, have faith, because he's imagining this wall is going to be impossible. She's saying, have faith. She's saying, mine was different, my experience, because he kind of ruminates about her death and all that over and over and over again. So what she's describing to him is like, you need to have faith. Mine is different. My time was different. That was then. Now has changed. She said, create a new life there. So she wants him to start fresh, right? Which it's hard for him to imagine right now because he's stuck in that old world of what you did to me kind of thing. And she said, get creative. You're stuck. You're not thinking about what it could be. You're only thinking about the past and everything. She said, stop blaming. Stop blaming. She said, it's unhealthy and stupid. And you've done this to yourself. That's what she said. You've done this to yourself. Let it go. She said, I will always be in your heart. She said, I had my time on earth. I'm good. So it's almost like he's doing it to vindicate her death or to wear it as a flag, on his horseback saying, my mom died and look what bad, and you can't do this. You can't do this to me or her, my wife or my kids. Or so she's like, let it go. She said, I had my time on earth. I'm done. And I've been there, done that. It's okay. I'm fine now. Right? She said, see the big picture, Harry. You are loved. So you need to pull back and get out of your torment. This cycle of woe is me, chip on my shoulder, grudge holding, unhealthy attitudes, really, because he will get sick if he continues this. It's just a matter of time. Plus, his wife encourages see how bad everybody is. And she encourages him to not be well or to not let it go, because she needs him to not let it go, because that way she'll stay in California and do whatever she's doing in her little world of products and jam and Instagram posts and podcasts about female founders or whatever it is. It's just, I think she wants to just sell it. I've seen this before. She just wants to make up a business idea, something that may be making money. I don't see how this is making any money, but somebody must be buying things, and she wants to sell it off and then start from scratch doing something else. That's my feeling. Okay, then. But I feel like that helped a little when going back to Harry and Diana. I feel like it helped a little. And the part was about you're loved. His heart was broken deeply. And also because I grew up in that world, not being the number one. And Virgos are self-critical in general anyway. But, when you don't like yourself, when there's a lot of self-judgment, you judge others very harshly. So it's how that goes. Judgment is judgment back and forth. It's not a one-way street. So, okay, I wanted to show you, I use these stones. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Moqui Marbles. They're found in Arizona and maybe New Mexico in the desert, high desert. And they have, this is the female one, as it has a receptive area. And this is the male one. Whoops. It has, protrusions. Anyway, I use these, and I meditated using these on the Stonehenge stones to get into that energy of earth. They have a spiritual meaning. Some people think it's hogwash. I'm like, so what if I hold stones in my hand? Maybe I feel like they go through the energy of my hands and connect to my inner wisdom, higher power, all part of one big thing. So I decided to check the frequency and the energy with them about Stonehenge, and immediately got Father Sky, Mother Earth, and I saw that stream of energy going from the sky down through the earth, below Stonehenge into the earth. And it doesn't, it goes to the energy of the earth, not to like the magma, lava. But I do feel like underneath Stonehenge, something else is there. A layer, something that has built up that they are using as well as just this intention of the earth frequency energy moving up into space, connecting with the celestial beings or celestial bodies. So I do feel like that was a big part of that. It's under there. I'm sure they scanned the ground to see what's under there, but maybe it's like a bedrock that vibrates. That's the feeling I get. It kind of vibrates. And it's an amplifier. That's the word I got. It's something underground is an amplifier, vibrating amplifier, like a heavy metal band. Lots of ritual sacrifices. I see blood. Yeah, there's a lot of ritual. Oh, I see a pelican. A lot of ritual sacrifices. The ancient Celts and this tribes and all the clans from the northern part of the island, or not Ireland. The thing is, what's really interesting, I have a story to tell you, but let me finish this. Planets, moon, sun cycles aligned. I wanted to know if, again, how the aliens, people have suspected aliens had something to do with this, or they spoke to the people. And it was like a way to talk to the aliens, but I don't think so. But the aliens, I think, noticed it, or visiting people from other universes or galaxies, because the energy was strong, and they probably had a sense, because of their technology and equipment, they could sense this energy force. And I think they saw that and tuned into that, or saw these silly humans, what are you doing down there? And I think it was really interesting for them because it went up all the way into the heavens. It's like a beam of energy. So like trees, I felt like all of these stones had energy and a life. And these stones had this energetic history through the Ice Age, through all the movement of the plates and all the shifting of the ice. I think these stones have moved, and I saw them as having tree rings, which I know they don't. But I think the native Celts, or the native, English indigenous people, felt them having ancient wisdom in them. And they lifted them and moved to a ridge from the north, some of them in the native or the indigenous people from that time wanted to bring the ancient wisdom in the stones, which made a certain frequency. And I think they thought it needed a combination. Previously, I thought that these tribes or clans from other locations, they wanted to bring stones from their location to combine with others, and it made it stronger. It's like that. But on top of it, another layer is this ancient wisdom that everybody perceives in their own way in these different locations to bring together. So then, it's kind of a funny thing. I started imagining, move forward quite a bit of time, and I know the Vikings didn't come till started 800, something like that, or 800 into the UK, but I saw them, or British Island. I saw them, I don't know why, I saw them chipping off pieces of these stones and using them as kind of amulets or some sort of spiritual, like a rabbit's foot, a charm that they would wear or keep with them on their ships. I know that sounds strange. So I don't know if it's something where they felt like if they took something from the location, either where they left, it would keep them safe. I don't know. It's the logic. I don't understand, but it's a spiritual thing. And then I was reminded of this old past life I had. You guys, past lives are when you learn your lessons and you bring them forward with your karmic patterns, karmic lessons. You evolve through time. Time isn't a straight line, it's a circle, but that's my opinion. Anyway, I had a life where I was this type of Norse person. It wasn't during that time, it was earlier, like 0 AD or 100 AD or somewhere right around there. I don't know where I was exactly, but I was like a war, like a tribe leader. And I was a huge dude. And I fought and I did a lot of bad things. I won't repeat them here because they're like technically horrible, bad laws, things that I did to everybody. But I got to the point where I'm in this battle and I know this is my ending, right? But I think I'm like early 50s or something. And this person who's coming at me, it's really strange. And I don't even know I've tried to research this. I don't know how to find any more information, but I felt proud that I was going to die like that. I felt like, okay, I'll die like this. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. But the thing is the other person, I have this pouch, and it's not one of those that you see with I don't even know what those are called in Scotland, where they have them in front of their kilts, that little purse type pouch. It was like that, but it wasn't. This other person who's going to kill me had this idea. If he could get whatever was in that pouch, he would get some sort of power, and not as I died, but just get the power from me. I have no idea what that means. I don't know what was in there, but it was some spiritual significance. And maybe it was a very specific religion or ancient belief at that time. But I've always tried to want to figure that out. But the thing was, I was proud to die like this, like that. And I didn't mind going. But at the same time, this pouch or this little bag, it was very important. So I'm reminded of that when I'm thinking about those stones of Stonehenge. And I don't think it's the same, but it's similar in that idea. You know how you pick up special rocks? Like I've got, crystals and things. I pick up rocks and they have different meaning depending. Sometimes they have energies and stuff. And I think this ancient Norse maybe beliefs, I don't know. But the other thing I noticed about Stonehenge, I felt so many animal spirits there bouncing around, like kind of protecting it because they've been called to. I think it's a lot of layers. There's been the ones that have been sacrificed, but also the ancient rituals. I think we're invoking these animal spirits to stay and protect it too, I think. So I saw all kinds of, like wolves and there wouldn't be cats up there, but I'm the mind of like jaguar kind of vibe, but I know that wouldn't be up there. But there's a lot of protection from these animal spirits that kind of spin around it and float around it and stay there. It's so interesting. That's why people, I think, have been drawn to it since the beginning. It's ever been there. But yeah. And so I think it has a lot of depth spiritually. But it's what you put into it too. If you think it's a rock, it's a rock. But I think energy, we're a living ball of earth. We have an atmosphere. We have layers of ether and, oxygen that are around us. We live and breathe. Animals live and breathe. I live and, so we're all part of that same thing. So why wouldn't a place or a group of rocks or people or spiritual things get together and form a greater energetic body or being or form? And it's like, I grew up Catholic. I mentioned that to you guys, when more than two of you get together, it becomes, it amplifies the prayer. It amplifies the joy and the beauty of being together in one body. Okay, there you go. All right, so I think that was it for my mysteries. I'm gonna, like I said, I'll be doing the other, this political one here in a little bit. But thank you for coming by. Again, I really appreciate you guys subscribing. Please do so. Check your thing if you haven't. And I also, oh yeah, I have my Otter Spirit bracelets. My Otter Spirit bracelets, I have a link in my description box. This is my turquoise and this is my moonstone. They give a portion to the Wild Otter Fund in Southern California, and they're really nice and they feel really good, and they're high quality stones or gemstones, and they're all natural, and they have a guarantee on them. So it feels really good. And you can set an intention. You can pick 2 zodiac signs or something you want to wear them and have the energy move through you depending on what you're looking to do. Anyway, look in my description box if you guys are interested. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Take care.